Hello athletes, welcome to the USA Triathlon Duathlon National Championship webinar. We are very excited to have you join us for the next half hour. We'll move through as much of this information as quickly as we possibly can so that you can learn everything you need to know about the race. And if you have any questions, we'll certainly encourage you to pose those to the address that we'll give you within this presentation. Nothing better than starting off with the scheduled events. We'll walk through this fairly quickly. Friday, October 25th, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. will be the packet pickup at Expo at the Hilton Turquoise Rooms 1 and 2. At 2 p.m. we'll have a rules briefing at Presidio Room number 5. Also know that the rules briefing will be followed by some Q&A that you can actually join us for that will answer other questions besides rules that you might have about the event. On Saturday, October 26th, at 5:30 a.m., the transition will open for both standard athletes and elites. At 7:30 a.m., the transition will close for standard and elite athletes. At 7:30 a.m., elite men will start, followed 5 minutes later by the elite women. The age of waves will be as follows. 7:45 a.m., standard distance wave number 1, female 50+, male 60+. 7:55, standard distance wave number 2, 18 to 39 males. 8:05 standard distance wave males 40 to 49, 8:15 standard waves males 50 to 59, and 8:30 a.m. standard wave number 5 females 18 to 49. The bike course will close at 10:45 a.m. so we'll need to get everybody off the course at that time. Saturday, October 26th continues 10:45 a.m. Transition will open for the sprint distance at 11:45 a.m. The course will close for the standard distance, and the transition will close for the sprint distance at 11:45 as well. The first wave of men for the sprint race will also start at 11:45, so a lot of things happening there at 11:45. At 11:50, sprint distance wave for women. 11:55 a.m. sprint distance wave for the para-duathletes, and we have roughly 5 to 6 people competing in that particular discipline. 1:30 p.m. the sprint bike course will close. At approximately 1:45-ish on Saturday, the bike checkout, and so we'll ask that you cooperate with us and not try to get your bike out before that time. At 2 o'clock, the sprint course will close. At 3:30, we have the Duathlon Town Hall meeting, which will be the opportunity for you to hear about what is happening in the sport of duathlon. It'll be moderated by Tanya Armstrong, the chair of the Duathlon Committee, as well as the rest of the committee members who will be in attendance to answer whatever questions you might have, and staff of USA Triathlon as well. At 4:30 p.m. we'll have the Duathlon Awards ceremony, again Turquoise Room 2 and 3, and then roughly 5:45 through about 6:15, 6:30-ish, the Duathlon Series Race Awards. And if you guys have been following the series, it's a new project that we undertook this year. 10 events, so we'll have the top 3 in each of the age categories in the standard event given during the award ceremony time, as well as the Duathlon Series Awards. So please make every attempt to be there to receive awards if you're an award winner. Packet pickup will be much like many other races you guys have done before. In this case, October 25th at the Hilton Tucson El Conquistador. It's a beautiful facility you guys will enjoy. Rooms 1 and 2. Packet pickup will start at 9 o'clock. It'll conclude at 4 p.m. Please don't miss that window of time. The expo will be the same time frame, and you must have your photo ID and USAT membership card in order to pick up your packet. If by chance you forget your card, you'll need to actually print a temporary card to present that as part of this process. Parking on race morning will be available at the Ventana South parking lot. You'll be able to park in that particular area and walk the 600 meters or so to the transition area. Very easy to find. You're essentially going to come up East Innovation Park Drive, take the turn into the medical systems parking lot, and then you'll be positioned where you need to be. So if there's anything you need to get done, it needs to be done prior to the start of the first race at 7:30. So we ask you show up early in case you do forget something. You can still get back to your hotel or your home or wherever and get back before we try to lock everything down starting at 7:30 a.m. No parking is allowed at transition area or along the race course, at any time once the first wave is off at 7:30. Here's a very easy map for you to use as your navigation. You'll see at the lower part of this map the event parking area, the Ventana Medical System buildings, and there are several sitting on this complex. The National Championship venue just to the upper left, which is where you're going to be positioned for transition and finish. And you'll see just to the left middle where East Innovation Park Drive is located. That's the main drive to get into this particular area. Body marking and sticker placement. Very simple. You have 2 body numbers that you'll see on the big sheet. These are big sheets that you get at all of our national championships, and they have all the different stickers located in certain areas. The 2 big ones in the upper middle will be for your race uniform, one on the back, one on the front. If by chance you use a race belt, you can actually put them over the race belts that are sticking against each other, and you will save yourself some headache. So we ask that you bring your belt if you have one back home. The helmet stickers, you'll receive 3, and you see those on the left-hand side of the sticker sheet, 1 for the front and 2 for each side of the helmet. Very simple, very easy to follow. The other numbers that you'll have, the seat post will have the bike number, or if you need to use another location, the brake calipers on the back side of your bike below the seat post in the top tube is another opportunity for you for placement of that number. And then we have a bag number that you also can use for placement in transition. There will not be a standard bag drop at a separate tent, but we ask that whatever you do place in transition, please, is what you're going to use for the race. So that's why we say small bags are allowed. Please do not bring buckets and chairs and everything else that simply makes mayhem on the transition area. Yes, there will be space, but we try to get enough bikes in a rack so that we can fit everything into the space that we actually allocate for this. So please only bring items that you're going to use for the event itself and place them in transition. The actual body numbering that you'll be doing will be through the Tri-Tat tattoos. You'll receive that packet pickup. You'll have 1 on each arm, as you see here on Miss Mary Beth Ellis. And then on the lower torso, on the legs, will be the other set of numbers. You'll also have marked your age on the back of your calf. If by chance you are wearing high socks, you'll need to actually have that number placed above the sock line so that it is clearly visible from both sides of the bike at all times. If you're wearing a top, which we doubt many people will because it'll be a pretty nice day, you'll need to put it on your hand again or some other location where it will be visible from both sides. The number 1 concern that we have going into an event is that athletes will not pay attention to the rules. So one of the things that we're doing this year is a rules briefing. Jay Ritterbeck, the head referee, will be responsible for that. It'll be Friday, October 25th at 2 p.m. It'll be at the El Conquistador Hotel, the turquoise room number 3. Again, we ask that you go to the website, review the rules, and then if you have questions after you review them, you'll be more than able to speak with Jay during that time. After this session is done, there will be opportunities for some Q&A, so if you have other race questions that you have, you can certainly ask them at that time. We prefer that you ask them before you arrive at the venue, but understand that sometimes seeing the venue will create additional questions, so we'll be there to offer whatever support in that capacity is needed. Standard transition will open at 5:30 a.m., close at 7:30 a.m. The sprint transition will open at 10:45 and close at 11:45 a.m. Again, please refer to the parking map and make certain you park in the allocated space. Bike check-in will be race morning starting at 5:30 for the standard and at 10:45 for the sprint. Unlike previous years, you will not be checking in your bike the day before the event. We talked about small bags only in transition, and bike support will be provided all week by the great folks, USAT partner trisports.com. This is a group that will be at the venue on race morning as well as the day before. They also have their shop in Tucson. They can do additional repairs if needed. Just a quick reminder about race distances. The standard event will be a 5-kilometer first run, which will be 1 lap, a 35-kilometer bike, which will be 2 laps of 17.5K, and a 5-kilometer closing run, which is the same run that you did to start the event. The sprint will be a 2.5-kilometer run, which is 1 lap, a 17.5-kilometer bike will be the same bike the standard athletes do, and then a same 2.5-kilometer run as you did on the first loop, which is 1 lap. So those are the distances that you'll be doing for this event. The run course for the standard, again, 1 lap, 5 kilometers. It's a moderately challenging and hilly course. Really the main hill for standard distance is the one that drops down to the hospital and comes back up, and then you're into transition. But it's pretty manageable. We ask that you stay inside the cones. There will be athletes running on one side and the possibility of vehicle or 2 or 3 on the other side. So just be aware of that. 4 aid stations, Gatorade, water, and goo. Aid stations approximately every mile. Volunteers and police will be on the course to offer whatever guidance or assistance is needed. Here's the actual run course as you see on the map. Very easy to follow. You have your start, which will be in the middle of the road, right in front of the Ventana Medical Systems buildings, and just adjacent to where the transition is out on the road. You'll head northeast up East Innovation Park Drive, approximately 0.7K to East Rancho Vistoso Boulevard. You'll turn right, heading southeast on that same boulevard for approximately 0.51K, where you do a turnaround. You reverse field to come back the other direction. Turn your left, heading southwest now on East Innovation Park Drive, approximately 1.37 to Innovation Corporate Center. On the left, just after passing the Innovation Corporate Center, turn left on the road, heading southeast for approximately 0.58K. The road's going to loop around, heading west back towards the drive. And right before reaching Innovation Park Drive, you're going to turn around, heading east, and then loop back northwest towards the drive for approximately 0.58K. Turn around on Innovation Park Drive, heading north-northeast for approximately 0.75K into transition. On your last lap, obviously, it'll be into the finish. But that is the map. We ask that you bring these maps with you for your own scouting as you get to the venue. This should be one of the first things that you do is actually get over the course and make certain you're fully aware of all the turns. You are ultimately responsible to know the course, so if there are any issues, it's not race management that's at fault. It is the athletes, because it will be clearly marked. There will be cones, there will be volunteers and policemen out there to guide you, so make certain that you do not go off course. Standard bike is also fairly self-explanatory once you see the maps, which we'll show you in just a second. 2-lap, 35 kilometers, 17.5 per loop. It's a rolling, undulating course, nothing too complicated or difficult about it. Again, we stay between the cones since the road will not be fully closed to vehicular traffic. No bottle exchanges intentionally, never has been for this event, and probably never will just because of the danger that you have, so make sure you bring enough fluids with you on your bike. There will be USAT officials on the course, policemen in key intersections, you should be fine there, and the dismount line will be located at very visible locations identified with a red line. So when you are out there on Friday, make sure you check out where the dismount lines are located. We'll move through the bike course turns very quickly. Again, you are coming from transition and heading out into the course, heading northeast up Innovation Park Drive, approximately 0.71K to East Rancho Vistoso Boulevard. You'll then turn left, heading northwest on the boulevard for about 2.8K, where you'll take then a very slight left and continue on Vistoso Boulevard, heading west-southwest for about 3.5 or 3.6K, roughly. Slight left to continue on North Ranch Vistoso Boulevard, heading southeast to Westmore Road, approximately 1.2K. You then turn that right, as you'll see on the map, heading southwest on Westmore Road for about 1 kilometer, and then you turn around at North Piping Rock Road. Again, get out there and take a look at this. It's not critical, but it is one of the few sections of this course where you will not be on Vistoso Boulevard. Turn around, heading northeast on Westmore, approximately 1K, which is simply reversing field from what you just rode. Turn left, heading northwest on North Rancho Vistoso Boulevard to East Rancho Vistoso Boulevard for about 1.2K. You'll then turn right to continue on Vistoso Boulevard, heading northwest for about 3.1K. Right, you'll then continue on Vistoso Boulevard, heading southeast for about 2.8K to the Park Drive where the start line was and where the transition is located. You'll then head southwest on this road for about 0.6K to the turnaround point, which will be very clear and evident. We'll go through that when we get to the transition section. Let's go right into the run course for the sprint. It's a one-lap, 2.5-kilometer run. It's rolling hills. Again, nothing too complicated. I wouldn't even say it's rolling hills. I would say it's flat. There's really nothing too complicated about the run sprint course. 2 aid stations, Gatorade, water, and goo. Aid station approximately every mile. Volunteers and police on the course. Again, we ask that you stay inside the cones to keep yourself safe from vehicular traffic or any other emergency vehicles that may be out there at the same time. Here's the actual course, run course for the sprint distance athletes. Fairly simple to explain. Again, you will start in the road. You'll be heading northeast on East Innovation Park Drive, approximately 0.7K to East Rancho Vistoso Boulevard, where you take a right, heading southeast for about 0.51K. You then do a complete turnaround, come back the opposite direction, turn that left, heading southwest on the Park Drive for about 0.7K to North Vistoso Park Road, right turn on North Vistoso Park Road to enter the transition area. So very, very simple run. You'll actually pass by right near the transition area where you started. You'll be on the curb side of that road where you then take the hard right into transition. We'll actually go through how the transition will work in just a second. Note that at each of the turnarounds for both the sprint course and the standard course, there'll be timing mats. We'll be able to acknowledge that you hit those points, so there'll be very, very strict scrutinization of those particular areas so that, again, no one does anything less than the course that we've designed for you. The sprint bike course, again, it's the same bike course as for the standard athletes, so we'll go through that quickly. It's one lap, 17.5K. It's rolling hills. No bottle exchanges, USAT officials on the course, dismount line clearly located, as well as the mount line for you to follow. It will be a red line. It will be in the road. So take a look at that when you're out there at the location. Here again is the bike course, and if you hold this up to the standard course, you'll see it's exactly the same course, except obviously you're doing one lap versus two. So we will not go through the different turns, but make sure you actually get over this course, at least in your car, so you have a good idea of exactly what you'll experience on race day. Aid stations approximately every mile on the run. Gatorade, goo, water and ice, and like we noted earlier, no bottle exchanges on the bike course, thanks to our great partners Gatorade and goo for supporting this particular event in this capacity. The transition. Again, we talked about the red lines. There'll be mount lines and dismount line, and they'll be very clearly marked. It's not a zone, it's actually a line. Bike racks will be individually numbered so that when you check in on race morning, you'll actually have a home that you'll be able to live on for mere seconds as your guys are going through T1 and T2. Bike rack by seat, please, as you're racking your bike in the morning, and then as you're doing the race, we ask if you can bike it or rack it by the saddle the other direction, or you can rack it by the bars, either way. But we do ask that when you start the day that you have it racked by the saddle, and we'll have people in around transition to show you how that's done if you have questions about that. Only small bags allowed in transition, like we talked about. Please, please, please only include those items you know you're going to need for race day. And then the standard and sprint bike checkout will begin at approximately 1:30 p.m. And again, we'll make an announcement as to when you'll be able to gain access of the transition area. Let's talk a little bit about transition flow. Again, nothing complicated about it. You're actually going to be starting out in the road, as you see with the red line, heading to the north of East Innovation Park Drive, Coming back as you're doing your lap through again for the standard race, you're going to go right by the start line area, near the curb. You're going to come down the hill, turn around, you're going to come back up the hill. As you make your way back, you're going to take that left into the parking lot. And as you're doing your loops, if you're obviously coming back to transition area, your first run, you're going to enter the top side transition. See that dotted red line? Very clear, very evident. You do not obviously want to go in the finish line yet. So you're going to run in, grab your bike. You're going to go through transition, which means you go from one end to the other. With your bike in hand, you're going to, not on the bike, but in hand, you're going to run with your bike out to the mountain line. You're then going to move to the far right of that particular section of that lane. You're going to move out onto the course. You're going to come back on your bike. And because it's a two-loop bike, you're going to have to be very careful in this section. You're going to do the start of your second lap right at that point where you see in the map where the arrows are very clearly designating that turnaround point. And it's at this place, this position, we ask you to be very, very careful. There will be athletes who will be merging with you, who will be starting their bike while you are completing or starting the second lap of the bike course. So be very, very clear. Keep your head up so that you do not have any issues there. You then go back out of the bike course and complete the second lap. When you come back in, this time you're going to actually take that hard right and move right into transition. Bike comes to the rack position. You then exit down the bottom side, and now you're starting your run, or your final run, out onto the course where it shows the red lines. You're going to do your run lap, and then this time, instead of taking that hard right next transition area, you're going to take the right into the finish line chute. Very clear, be very evident when you're out there. Walk through this so you are clear and ask questions. If there are people out there you can ask questions of about what exactly it is that you're needing to do. The transition for the sprint will be the same philosophy, same start line, out onto the run course, come back. Obviously, this run course, you do not go down the hill, so you're going to go by the start line area nearest the curb. You're going to take a hard right. The transition will have you, again, that same course. You're going to be parallel to the transition area. Enter the high side, top side of transition area, get to your bike. Running with your bike, you're going to exit down the bottom portion of the transition zone. With your bike still in hand, you're going to move out to the mountain line. You're going to now get on your bike. You're going to do your one loop. Come back around this time. You're going to exit at that point where you move into the lot. It'll be very clearly marked. The dismount line will be right there in that area. You enter transition zone on the top side, deposit your bike and gear, get your run stop on, exit lower portion of the transition area, back out to the run course where you'll be doing, again, the same run as you did in lap number 1. Come back around, and this time instead of obviously going parallel to the transition area, you're going to go right to the finish line chute. Very simple to follow. The venue map will be very, very easy to follow. Everything will be clearly marked out the venue as well. Transition area, you have your sound system, your finish line, your announcer tent, your timing tent, medical. Take a look at this map. Everything you need to know is pretty much on here. You got your food tents you're going to obviously access after the race. You got your volunteer information in case you're coming with someone who's volunteering for the race. Your chip pickup, very clearly marked just on the edge of transition zone, so you'll pick up your chip on race day, not on packet pickup day. You got our sorts of trash recycling bins out there as well, so it'll be easy to deposit stuff where you need to deposit them, so we keep the area very, very clean. So if you guys have questions about this when you're out there, please let us know. We'll be at the venue. At the finish line, water and Gatorade will be provided, medical support for those who need it. Hopefully none of you will. The finisher medal will be draped over your neck. Your post-race food area, which we just showed you in the previous map. It'll be some southern cuisine that we believe you guys will like. Results and penalties will be posted, and then your individual result printout will also be available. It's what we call a print receipt. There'll be someone there at a table that you'll give your number to. They'll print out the receipt for you. You'll give the splits for you for each of the disciplines within the race. Pretty cool stuff. The award ceremony, again at the El Conquistador Hotel, Turquoise Rooms 1 and 2 at 4:30. But prior to that, and more importantly, is the town hall meeting, which we want you guys to attend because we want you there to ask us questions. We want you there to hear what we have to say about what's happening within duathlon. We'll have 100 free drink coupons to those people that want to attend, and we'll have them available until such time we liquidate the 100 that we have in our possession. The Pair Duathlon Awards will be done at the same time, as will the Elite Awards, along with payment of prize money for the elites, $12.50, $7.50, and $500. Duathlon Race Series Awards, as we noted, will be given 3 deep as well for every age group, starting at about 5:45 in the same area as the standard awards for the race. If you have questions or need additional responses to things that you can't get through this webinar or that you don't see at the venue, be certain to make contact with us, or you can email us as you see fit as well, usatriathlon.org. There will be many other options for you to ask questions to at Packet Pickup. Team USA will be in Pontevedra, Spain for ITU Duathlon Worlds. They will be offering a standard and a sprint distance event. Athletes will not be able to do both the races because of the 48-hour rule, but you will be able to do one or the other this year, which is great news. We'll have slots go to the top 18 per age group, with slots rolled down to 25th. You have to show up at the award ceremony to claim your spot. We need to know indication of yes or no as part of that process. We want to thank the great supporters of this event, trisports.com, Town of Oro Valley, Erica Federico, Tucson Sports, Oro Valley Police Department, Catherine Gleason with Fontana Medical Systems, Robin Wilczynski of Hilton Tucson Conquistador Hotel, Brian Grasky, who's one of our coaches, has been a stalwart for us out in that Tucson area, Oro Valley Hospital, Golden Ranch Fire Department, Dr. Bruce Helmig, Dr. John Martinez, serving in a medical capacity, William Vicens, Town of Oro Valley, as well as Amanda Jacobs, also with the Town of Oro Valley. Great, great support. Be certain that anybody that looks official at the event, you guys thank them for the support of the weekend races. The bike rental program, thanks to the great partners of USA Triathlon, trisports.com. If you are going to be in town doing the race and you just hate to agonize over the shipment of the bike with you on the airlines, or the pain of sometimes putting it through UPS or some other shipping company, you can actually rent a bike, which we guarantee will be a very high professional quality fleet of bikes through Cervelo, Guru, Quintana Roo, and others. So certainly leave that open as an option. For information on that, pricing, availability, and secure that rental, make sure you go to www.duathlonnationals.com. There will be all the details you need there to inquire further about the process. The presenting sponsors, again, trisports.com is the presenting sponsor of the event. Active, Rudy Project, Gatorade, and TIER. So I thank the great folks with those organizations for really standing behind the sport of duathlon. We talked about questions. You can go to the website, www.usatriathlon.org, as we noted earlier, or you can email directly the National Events staff at nationalevents@usatriathlon.org. And hope you guys can work through those questions before you arrive, and we'll give them an answer to eliminate one of the additional stresses that people can have at events when they don't have answers to questions that they need. To close, we want to again thank you guys for listening to this webinar over the last 30 minutes. I encourage all of you again to reach out to us if you have questions. It's going to be a beautiful weekend. Temperatures expect to be in the mid-80s, so nothing too hot, nothing too cool. We're expecting a field of about 720 athletes, so very competitive. I'm looking forward to you guys being there. Travel safe, and look forward to what will be a great weekend of racing. Good luck, everybody. We'll talk to you soon.